All right, let's do an audio check. Sounds good to me. So, I was going to do this video just in my car, but then I just thought I'd do it as a live stream and do it immediately rather than upload it later. But I think I talked about this before where I've gotten nostalgic, and it's weird. I have very vivid dreams when I sleep, and very often, I would say that usually the majority of time, it's a dream where I'm back in high school or middle school, and that's kind of weird. I would think, I don't know if it's common for other people, but um, in these dreams, I'm always like back in middle school or high school. And the one I had the other night was it was like we were all in the hallway and we were taking, it was like the SAT or the ACT, but it was done like we had already taken it for admission to college, and this was like as a standardized test version for like compilation of data, so nobody was taking it seriously because it didn't count toward anything. We had already taken it for real, and this was like just for state records purposes. And so everybody was like in the hallway just like hanging out and talking, and nobody was taking it seriously. um, but I've talked about this before. It's you go from an environment where it's you're never going to have it as good, let's put it that way, socially, romantically, or whatever, as you do when you're in middle school or high school. It's all fucking downhill from there. um all these people who want to run their mouths about, oh, but you have more freedom as you get older. More freedom? Yeah, I have freedom to have an empty apartment. Yes, I do have my own car. I do have my own apartment. Yes, these are truths. Yes. Doesn't do me any good. Doesn't help. Doesn't help at all. Um, I mean, it's weird that you had more ability with the opposite sex when you would have had to have taken your bike to her house to hang out, or you would have had to have asked your parent for a ride in the station wagon, or if you were calling her, you would get her father would answer the phone or some shit. It's That's a weird. Somebody says I wish they had died the summer after fifth grade. Fifth grade for me was, yeah, fifth grade was probably the last time I had, like, I would have, what's the term, uh I mean, I remember fifth grade that we would have lunch every day, and that was the last time I dined with the opposite sex, like in a regular manner. It was like three or four of us guys sitting opposite three or four girls, and I remember their names: Lissa, Jennifer, and Rachel. And it was like every day we sat at one end of the table, and that was fifth grade. Uh, Program for gifted and talented children. And you would eat, and then you would go outside and play. And fifth grade was the last time that I would dine with the opposite sex. Now, there was, some time in middle school and high school where, like I said, girls were interested, but it wasn't that you were socializing with them routinely or whatever. Um, but oh yeah, after, I think that's probably why you're kind of locked into that era. Uh, which is, yeah, it's a long time ago. That's half a lifetime ago for me. Um, it doesn't get better. Anybody who you have to resort to these gimmicks. Like I said, you go from it's natural, you're in the same setting, you're in the same classroom with somebody. Um, you're talking to them, you see them every day, and that transforms into cold approaching. You know, walking up like you're some Mormon trying to get people to join your flock, or you're a member of the Jehovah's Witnesses. That's that's what dealing with the opposite sex has become. It's like, do you have a moment? And it's like you're trying to close the door, and you're like, I'm sorry, buddy. Read the sign. No, no solicitation. She puts up her hand. No, 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 not having it. I not interested. Can I talk to you about the Church of Latter-day Saints? No, thank you. Damn, we got a youngin. We got a youngin in the chat. Summer after seventh grade also would have been good. Shouldn't have made it past August 2011. Fuck. I think I was in sixth grade when Columbine happened, so I was seventh grade would have been 90, no, 99. Yeah, 99, 12. Hmm. But you don't really have dreams. Let's put it that way. I was telling somebody. I wrote this comment. I said, you know, being in a relationship or having sex when you're as a teenager, and it's like something. It's like Winnie Cooper and Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years. It's like real special, real magical. You're gonna remember it forever. And then sex in your 30s or a relationship in your 30s, it's like the woman is saying, can you hurry up and finish already, whatever you're doing, whatever you call this. Stephen Colbert's almost on. That's Stephen Colbert. He's a funny guy. Oh, oh, just finish whatever you call this whole rigmarole. Just finish it. Finish up. I finish up already, honey. I got to watch Stephen Colbert. We got a lot of trolls in here. It's all right. But isn't the gay pill called a suppository? Do you take the gay pill orally or anally? Somebody in the comment chat is saying, I think it's a suppository. I think the gay pill is a suppository. Um, doesn't get better. Like I said, it's all force. You're going through these. You go from sitting in a classroom with working on projects, and it's natural, and then you're coming up with pretexts and excuses to go up to women like, have you lost can you help me search for a puppy? Can you recommend a good Samsonite luggage? That suitcase there looks quite rugged. It looks quite durable. I read this in Bang is no, what is the new book? Game, whatever, by Roosh. That looks mighty durable there. Have you traveled? Does it deal with humidity quite well? That Samsonite, is that Samsonite luggage right there? Ugh. Oh man, it doesn't get better though. You're going to be dealing with you resort to these props like you're fucking Gallagher with a sledge, or Carrot Top with his props, and you're going to speed dating, and it just gets even more, just so mm, so what is the term? So cold and mechanical. You gotta these are busy professional people. Okay, they have they are busy at work. Okay, and they can allocate 90 seconds to determining whether they want to pursue any relationship with you. So 90 seconds, ding, 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 ding. It's like, I don't know, how long are rounds in boxing? I think those are like 5 minutes by comparison. I mean, people can withstand getting punched in the head for longer than they can stand talking to you. That's pretty funny. That's pretty sad, actually. People can withstand getting Holyfield blows to the head for longer than they can to look at your ugly face and talk to you over a mojito. Um, these people are busy. They got their priorities straight, people. Okay, they got their priorities straight. Okay, work comes first, career comes first, and just cram your personal and dating and romantic life into 90 seconds. Okay, just cram it in. That's like an afterthought, people. Okay, work, internship, networking. Okay, those come first. Those are priorities. Um, you know, social life, romantic life, that's all just done as an afterthought. Just, you know, cram it in last minute. Yeah, are you from around here? What kind of shoes are those? I wear shoes too. Mine are bigger. Those are some nice, those are, it's never anything. A lot of these people, especially in like the more urban areas or the elite areas like New York City, I would get into discussions or arguments, whatever, with people on when I used to post over on Return of Kings before the Great Purge. And some people had these notions that like women were supposed to, like, some of these people were older and they claimed to be wealthy, so they had what they deemed to be standards for women, and they were quite particular as to the type of woman they would consider dateable. And these were, like I said, 48-year-old men who claimed to be wealthy. But he's like, "Oh, a woman's got to wear high heels. If she's not wearing this and that, she's not really a woman." Well, I don't know. I mean, the girls that I, you know, remember socializing with, or who were at least interested in me, or seemed to have some interest in dating males, generally speaking, they displayed a healthy, you know, mindset. They weren't. I mean, you're students in high school. You're not walking around in heels. They were wearing like Chuck Taylor All Stars or Vans or something. But if you want to insist that heels make the woman, I know somebody who will agree with you. That's Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner agrees with you too. Go from being a has been washed out old man, and you put on a evening gown and a pair of heels, and you recline on a fainting couch, and suddenly, like, take a walk on the wild side. Suddenly he was a she. Yeah. uh, Call Me Caitlyn agrees with you on that supposition, that yes, the heels do make the woman. Yes. So let's see. Yeah, women. Again, women. They do hate when men talk to them. Yeah, and I don't care how good how good looking the guy is. You could do experiments, like I said, at a fucking in an aisle in the store where you would have some really good looking guy, well dressed, and he would be, putting items in a basket, walking past a couple girls who are shopping. They're not even going to look at him. I mean, it would be like he has an invisibility cloak on. He's the invisible man. Um, or you go to a cafe, fucking Starbucks or any of these other cafes or coffee houses, you do the same thing. You go to some place where they're having brunch, couple girls, three, four girls on a Sunday or Saturday morning, and they're having brunch together, mimosas. You could have a real good looking guy in a suit, and he sits at the table next to them. I guarantee you, they're not even going to look at him. It's like he's invisible. He's wearing a cloak of metamaterials. He's put on the ring. Yeah, like Bilbo Baggins. Nobody can see him. Uh, let's see here. Let's see. Fuck. Let me look at the comments here. Yeah, they're not looking around. These people, again, the lookism people. They're not. They're not. I don't see women eye fucking men. Period. That's why I still, that's back in middle school and high school, things seemed healthier. Like the girls actually seemed, and they were. I mean, it wasn't just that they seemed; they were interested in dating. And you flash forward, you think you think your options get better. Like, oh, you have freedom now. You have freedom. Um, okay, you have money. Okay, you're not dependent on other people. You have your independence. None of that helps you at all. Okay, you're independent. Okay, you can crash. You can sleep when you want. You can, You know, you can that's about it basically. You know, you can you can do a lot of sleeping. Um, no, no, people. I mean, it was healthier. Eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade. Girls actually. I mean, you actually interacted with girls. You know, even if the day was gonna suck, what you take a test, you have to fuck. It was easy. Um, you know, take a test or whatever. I mean, that's like the worst that'll happen. And it's like you get to. I mean, you're gonna be around the opposite sex all day. You know, you're gonna. I mean, you're gonna be around members of the opposite sex literally all day in every classroom, you know, unless you took something like shop or something. But you walk down the hallways, it's girls. You walk to, yeah, you're eating in the cafeteria, it's going to be girls everywhere. You're never going to have that type of density or that type of concentration again. I mean, you're just not. I mean, school puts to shame the most gender ratio favorable, you know, bar or nightclub that you could come up with. I mean, it puts any, you know, it puts any of those things to shame. You know, even if it's not a sausage fest of a wiener roast of even if it's a decent ratio, school, fuck, puts it all to shame. You know, uh, let's see here. I mean, I don't know how you can you know, explain that or account for the fact that, you know, girls at, you know, 13 to 17 in high school, um, they seem to have a more a healthier, I don't know, not libido. I mean, it wasn't like they were lasciviously propositioning guys. It was, you know, that they wanted to talk or flirt or date or get a boyfriend. I mean, maybe that would have led to sex. You know, could very well have, but you know, you compare that with the complete indifference or hostility that most present today. I mean, at best they seem asexual. At best they seem neutral, like just sort of like a eunuch. You know, like that they're just asexual. They're not interested. That's at best. That's best case scenario. Worst case is they're downright hostile. You know, like they get that nasty stink look on their face. You know, like that they're, you know, visibly perturbed by your presence or by your, you know, talking to them or whatever. Like that's you know, that's worst case, is that they're visibly perturbed, or they'll say, you know, don't bother me, something like that. You know, best case scenario is they're neutral, they're asexual and indifferent, and they treat you, you know, like a potted plant. You know, you're sort of just something in the room, you're something in the surroundings, you're something in the environment. That's best case. That's the best case scenario nowadays. um let's see. Yeah, girls got brainwashed to reject the Duke Nukem type of man. And again, it's not just the physical thing, you know, it's not just the physical aspect. I'm not just saying, well, you have to be 6'4" and, you know, if, you know, blonde crew cut guy. No, I mean, there are different aspects to masculinity. I mean, even if you were like the top dog in a class in terms of performance, like you were always, you know, asking the difficult questions, or you were answering the difficult questions. I mean, that shows you're competent, right? If you score the highest, if you get the highest score routinely in a classroom, right? I would say you're competent. You're proving yourself. I don't really think you can be masculine if you're fucking stupid. I mean, if the girl, you know, is getting a better score than you by a wide margin, and you're just a dummy, I mean, that's kind of sad, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to, yeah, you may be a good physical specimen, but it's kind of pathetic, you know, that somebody can outshine you. So I mean, I mean, maybe they don't do it anymore, probably not, but the teacher would announce, like, you know, this is like the teacher was like 60 some, 65 years old, who got like the highest score in a math class, or they would post it by name, and so you could see. And I mean, it was like there were some bright girls, but usually it was myself or some other guy who got like the top score. And I don't think that happens anymore. I think the top 20, top 25 students, it used to be like majority guys, at graduation time, where it was like evenly split. Valedictorian was male, salutatorian was female. Now if you go and look, it's like all female. It's just like a wall of girls. um let's see. Damn, things were, that's a long time ago. Each year slips on by. It's not, you're not talking 5, 10 years anymore. You're talking, wow, fuck. I'm reminiscing about 2000 or 2005 or something. It's a long, long fucking time ago. Ooh, yeah, things. Hey, Hugh Latreviatus here. Yeah, I posted. I saw your comment on that video. I left a comment, a response for you, but yeah, it doesn't get any better. I mean, you go from a concentration, and that's what it is. I mean, you're jam packed. I mean, you're talking 40 kids to a classroom, or whatever, 30, 25, and one room after another. That's density. Okay, just think of how jam packed the hallways would be in a high school. One classroom after another off of the hallway. Even when you get to college, when you get to university, I mean, you could compare a university. Yes, you have more students. Okay, instead of 2,000 at a high school, you might have 10,000 or 20,000 at a university. But look at the size of the campus by comparison. Look at the number of buildings. A high school is one building. It's one building. And then you go to a university and it's spread over hundreds of acres. Um, I mean, the size of a campus must be. I mean, you're talking at least what, 100 times by each dimension, and so areas, okay, side squared. So if it's 100 times every both linear dimensions, you're talking 10 to the fourth. You're talking 10,000 times reduction in concentration, roughly, if you keep the population the same. So if you have, like, imagine the lot size of your high school. Well, any university or campus is probably going to be at least, it's more than 10 times. I mean, the average college campus is sprawling. I mean, you got to drive across the fucker. So, yeah, you're talking a reduction by a factor of, say, 1,000 to 10,000 in the concentration, meaning the density of people, per square foot or whatever, per square meter. I mean, in a high school, you're packed in there like sardines. You're walking in the hallways. It's everything's a short walk. Okay, you have a few vending machines, you have the cafeteria, you have the bathrooms, you have the library. Everything is very packed together, and I think it's that density, that density that helped to sort of promote interaction. And then, okay, you graduate, you go to university, you think things are going to get better. Oh, you're going to be going to a kegger or whatever. You have a few thousand people, but you're spread over such a wide area. I mean, you consider any campus. I mean, what is the average size of a campus? Several thousand acres, right? I mean, it's just, and what, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of buildings, different lecture halls, etc. So, I mean, the enrichment factor, the density goes way down. It goes way down. Um, women aren't getting soaked by anything. The only time women are soaked is when it rains. Yeah, chiseled jawline and deep set eyes. Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, no. The only time women get soaked are if they spill their mimosa on their lap. Yep. I mean, I'm definitely nostalgic, but I would never have guessed things would just go fucking downhill from like fucking 2000. Mm. I mean, yeah. I mean, just when you think back, you have so many. You had everything was equally balanced. You know, you had roughly the same number of guys as girls in a classroom, in gym, um, whatever, and it was just like I recall so like overcrowded almost. I mean, it was overcrowded. My high school was, and they had a um, set up like those mobile command units, like those trailers for the spillover. I mean, the hallways were jam packed. Just yeah, like I said, I'm viewing it sort of trying to put a number on it. Yeah, the concentration, the foot traffic. I mean, it goes down. I mean, you go just to you're at university. Sometimes the classes, you know, you might have synchronization. Okay, both your classes start at 2:30. They let out at 3:20, but usually not. Usually they stagger things to avoid you know excess foot traffic and crowding. Um, in high school or middle school, everybody moves at the same time. They may have lunch at a different period, but all of the classes, the bells, everybody moved at the same time. It was crowded as fuck. It was densely concentrated. And then you just every time you go to university, it gets diluted, it gets less concentrated. You go work at whatever, some place downtown, someplace wherever. Again, less and less people, less and less concentrated. Um, and it just goes from you had the ability to interact. It was natural. You saw these people every day. You got to sort of feel them out, what type of person they were, what their interests were, okay, what did they wear, a shirt that signified they liked this, or a style that signified that they liked a certain genre. And then you have nothing to work with now. You have nothing to go on. It's just a blank slate, and you're supposed to, well, I guess this is physically attractive. I guess I'll proposition this one. Um, yeah, just you're coming up with excuses to like what's the term? Proposition or I mean harass, I guess. Uh I was watching what they have like these what are they called? It was called Super Seducer, and I guess they made a sequel, Super Seducer 2, and it's like a video game, like, or I'm sorry, computer game, like you can download it off of Steam, and it's like a choose your own adventure. If you ever read those books as a kid, choose your own adventure. Like if you decide to enter the cavern, go turn to page 73. If you decide to take the road through the woods, turn to page 92. And it's like a choose your own adventure type thing. And it's a video game, but it's about how to pick up women. And it's funny. I actually I think the game is it's simple. Okay, I mean I could actually that's a game I could easily write. I mean, my friends back like in high school, they wrote very similar programs that were just text based, and it was like Dungeons and Dragons shit. Like, if you use your sword against the troll, it would just, it's just a threaded program. The only difference with this thing is it has video clips. That's the only difference. So it's a very simple game to design. It's not like so it's not like fucking Red Dead Redemption that takes a decade to design, or GTA 5 or something. This is yeah, it's a simple game to design, which is it's a threaded program. That's it, with pre-recorded clips, pre-recorded content based on do you choose A, B, C, or D? And it was people have done walkthroughs of what you're supposed to say to a strange woman, what you're not supposed to say, and some of the options are these really ribald things like what was one of them? Oh, the guy's like at a table and he says, "I got a surprise for you underneath the table." And he's like telling her to look, and he's pulled his dick out underneath the table, um, and shit like that. Um, but it's a funny game, but it's not really realistic because all of these scenarios, it's I don't know who they're geared toward. I mean, I think everybody in the game is European, but it's for some weird upper echelon of society. Everybody's driving like a Lamborghini, like, or the guy's like at a yacht club, and he's like talking to some woman who gets off her own yacht. It's like none of this is fucking realistic. I mean, how do you talk to a woman who owns a horse ranch? Like, what the, or this guy goes up to a woman in a sports car. It's like none of this is realistic. Like, you got to be talking about how to talk to women at the can and bottle redemption center, not how to pick up women at the yacht club. Uh, I was thinking of doing a live gameplay, like Super Seducer. I mean, it's funny. It's like I said, I don't know why all the scenarios are so unrealistic, and uh, it was everybody's older seemingly in that game. I mean, they look old to me, like in their late 30s or something. Um, or all of the scenes of a nightclub were, again, it looked like some very highfalutin Euro nightclub where it has like weird furniture, and or everything is like really ornate. Uh, you got to be making it more relatable, like getting a tall boy of Pabst Blue Ribbon or something, not these, or these women are holding, they're drinking wine, and the thing's so big it looks like a chalice. It looks like something they would have at the table of Valhalla. It's like, why don't you just drink out of the bottle, bitch, instead of pouring the whole bottle into a goblet? I mean, it's not even a glass; it's a goblet. It's something you take communion from. But that's what I'm saying. You went from nobody, when we were in middle school or high school, nobody was talking about how do you approach women, what do you say. It wasn't even on the radar. And now you're having to come up with all of these schemes and plans and stratagems of how to, and it's even like how to portray yourself. And you've got to get an Instagram page, bro. You've got to set up your Instagram page so that you know you project the illusion of having a life. We all know you don't have a life. We all know you're miserable as fuck, but you've got to put on a happy face. It used to be like that type of, there was a, what is the term? Yeah, it was more varied. Like, you could be a morose person, and that did not repel all women. Now, it wasn't, everybody's cup of tea, but like how they portray those goth kids or those emo kids on South Park. You could be sort of a morose, intense person, and there was a market for that. There were girls who were into that. Now it's all kind of, you got to be there. There's one flavor. There's only one flavor, and if you don't fit inside these, strictly drawn borders, these strictly drawn lines, you're out of luck. But back then, you could be sort of a dark, person, or you could have, there were different subgroups, different subcultures or whatever you would call them. Now there's like one flavor for everything. The way people dress too. I mean, females, whether they're 12 or 52, they kind of dress the same. They kind of dress the same. There's no, there aren't, punk kids or goth kids, it's all just one thing nowadays. It's, regardless of age, you kind of dress the same. Yeah, there are no more subcultures. It used to be you could be a jock, a prep, nerd, person, punk person, metalhead. Now that's all gone. Um, No, I think things have objectively gotten worse. I don't think it's just that people have an outlet in the age of the internet. I think things were objectively better, even for the. I mean, even the guys who are weirdos into theater, or like Renaissance fair. There were still girls who were into that too. They were, going joining the theater club and doing their Shakespeare plays, or doing the Renaissance fair. Uh, that stuff's gone too. Yeah, no more subcultures. I don't even think there are subcultures as pertains to fashion. I think that's gone too. I don't think it's just everybody's values are the same. I think it's I don't see any variety in fashion. Um, yeah, I mean the single conclusion I can come to is that women are just not interested, and it doesn't matter what you do in terms of improving. Again, that's probably actually the worst thing you can do is try to improve yourself. Um, but somebody, Elizabeth S says here, my dad asked me why I'm always home and not looking for a man. I told him I was currently uninterested in being with someone. Well, that's one example of what I said. Women are generally disinterested uh, in men. Period. As far as working on yourself, no, I don't think it helps you. I don't think it makes any difference, and if anything, it probably hurts your chances. Um, but if you wanna be fucking 30, 35 years old, you know, this isn't directed toward the female in the chat. It's in general. I mean, that's not a good time. That's not a happy time. You're old. You're half your life's over, um, and you want to be starting to find the one. I mean, it's just like I said. You're fucking old, jaded, cynical, bitter. Um, that's not going to be a good time to be looking for somebody. Um, yeah, focus on yourself again. Be the best. Be all that you can be in the Army Reserves. Um, yeah, walk around with a scowl. Uh, a lot of people have disappeared. The LMS channel. Well, he hasn't uploaded anything in months, right? He's kind of gone. Um, hmm. No, the only conclusion that I think covers everything and everybody's situation is that women are just not interested in men. That's the only thing I can really, the only conclusion I can arrive at. Doesn't matter what you look like, or you have a good job, you have a lot of money. It's not going to help you. You can go and get shot down at the club. And again, it's just bizarre. I mean, as an adult male, for all of your accomplishments and all of your independence, you are functionally less able to socialize with women, or relate to women than you were at age 13 or 14, and you had nothing. When you had what, $5 in your wallet for getting lunch. Um, they're just, yeah, they're not as interested as they used to be. Now you can try to come up with explanations. Is it cultural? Is it the conditioning with um, every man's a rapist and everything that goes along with that? Just getting women to focus on their careers, be very career oriented, to be very goal oriented. Um, that type of programming socially, or is it something more physical? Is it, well, between the ages of 13 and 16, these girls were healthy in the sense that they were not pumped full of chemicals. They probably were not on birth control pills. Back in, definitely not back when I was of that age, and not where I grew up. Now, maybe if you grew up on Long Island, maybe things were different. Maybe if you grew up in LA, things were different. But when and where I grew up, I'm sure it was not. No, I'm sure no girls were on birth control. No, their parents would not have taken them to the doctor and gotten their sub 18-year-old daughter the birth control pill. It just would not have happened. And the same thing for other, drugs, antidepressants. Not 17 years ago, not 15 years ago, for girls of that age. Probably not even for adult women. Now, in today's age, it's, I don't know. I don't know what young girls are doing. Maybe it's still better than, women when they're 18 or whatever. They can start getting on, hormonal contraception. They can get antidepressants prescribed. They can get other things prescribed. So, and they do get these things prescribed. So, is it social conditioning, or is it, well, older women have access to these chemicals and they elect to pump themselves full of them, and or is it a combination of the two? Go girl careerism, uh wanderlust. I mean, I used to remember they would make fun of this shit. I think it was like on Comedy Central. It was like this German guy was making fun of these tourism shows like Globe Trekker, and it was called Gerhard Venke's Wanderlust, and it was this guy with this fake German accent, and he was like exploring the world, going to these, you know, different places, and it was him like getting into trouble and getting like sick and stuff like that. It was Gerhard Venke's Wanderlust or something. Um, I mean, they would make fun of that, but now everybody's, well, you're an uncultured swine unless you travel. I mean, so you went from making fun of it to embracing it. So women are told, you do, you have to be well traveled. Hmm. Best years to live is 16 to 25, then it goes down the gutter. Definitely doesn't get better. Yeah, your 50s. Women love a silver-haired fox. A lot of women believe that men are simply dumb and simple-minded. Yeah, that's the stereotype. And I think they actually want men who conform to that. They don't want men, period. But when they're finally looking to settle down, you have to conform to that stereotype of the guy who's going to sit on the couch and watch the game and drink some beer. Um, and of course, it's the opposite. I mean, you just look at the entire canon of English literature, and with what the exceptions of Mary Shelley and Mary Higgins Clark and Jane Austen, everything was written by a man. The only things that women write are, 10 new sex positions that'll drive him crazy. Best new outfits for fall. Yeah, Asian guys are doing pretty well. You go to any campus or whatever, any place that has young people, okay? The cafes or college town area with restaurants surrounding a campus, you'll see Asian guys in the company of women. They're walking together, they're dining together, they're working out together. Um, is it their culture? Is it their, I don't know. I mean, they're doing better with not just Asian women. They're doing better all around with black girls, white girls, etc. I'll probably see more Asian guys with black girls than I'll see black guys with black girls. So yeah, they're kind of doing better all around. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I wonder if Face and LMS took my advice and started looking at, like university campuses. I mean, he's in the UK, so it's not. Yeah, it's what, a short drive from coast to coast, right? It's a fucking island, so it's pretty easy for him to check out any camps. Doesn't have to be the top school. Doesn't have to be fucking Cambridge or Oxford. Just check out any place, and maybe he did, and maybe he said, "Oh, there are a lot of Asian and Paki and Indian guys who look pretty fucking schlubby and it's and pathetic with girls." Wow. Yeah, but I think it's a confluence of things. The push for bisexuality and the, what do you call it? The destigmatizing of homosexuality. I mean, back when I was in middle school or high school, and no girl would. I mean, that would have been like the end of her to be accused or to admit that she was bi or lesbian. No girl did that. No girl. Not. I mean, not one that I can recall would. I think the most was one said her mother was a lesbian, which is like she had a father and then they divorced and then, oh, her mother's gay. That was like the most that happened, was that a girl claimed her mother was a lesbian, which I guess that means her father was a real jerk. But um, mm, yeah, I mean the push for acceptance of that, I think, has contributed too. Because like I said, the only poll I could find was something from like 2011, and it said like 22 or 25% of white women between 18 and 35 were bisexual or lesbian. Now, imagine what it is in 2018 amongst those under, not between 18 and 35, but say under the age of 25. I'm guessing at least 50% are going to say they don't identify as exclusively heterosexual. That would be my guess. Yeah, they push other stuff too. Again, yeah, the global warming shtick, the overpopulation shtick about uh Henny penny, the sky is falling. Oh, they did the same thing 50 years ago. The Club of Rome, limits to growth. Um, you've got to stop. You've got to stop having children. Think of the earth. Think of the earth. Won't you think of Mother Nature? You can't have children. I think anybody who talks about not having children to save the planet should just, kill themselves, instead of just talking about it. Be the change you want. As Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. If you want to see fewer people, kill yourself. Okay, if you think the solution is fewer people or fewer people who look like you, meaning you don't have children, kill yourself. If that's what you believe, put your money where your mouth is. um, yeah, go on OkCupid. Most women list themselves as bisexual or gender fluid or pansexual. Yeah, or sapiosexual. Um, I think Asians are doing better. I don't know. I mean, it could be the empathy. That's, I think, true. It's also, they're not. They're portrayed as victims. They can complain about no representation in Hollywood and more. Oh, Donald Trump is bringing a lawsuit against Harvard, and now I think it's against Yale too, about discrimination in admission. Again, you go over on Breitbart and Amran, and these stupid white people are celebrating that. Um, you think Harvard and Yale are going to not admit Negroes or not admit Hispanics? No. If you remove the cap on Asians, these universities are going to be like the California schools. They're going to be two-thirds Asian. All right. But mm, and they don't have any, nobody accuses Asians of any wrongdoing, historically speaking. Nobody will trot out the fact that Genghis Khan killed 10% of the world's population. Um, they'll trot out Columbus and, the Manifest Destiny, and we killed the red man, but nobody ever has anything to say that the Mongols killed 10% of the world's population. Nobody will point out, they'll bitch and whine about how smallpox was introduced to the Indians, but nobody will point out that the bubonic plague originated in Asia and it was brought to Europe through trade. Nobody will point that out. The Asians are basically blameless. They're never blamed for anything. You hear all the time about Hitler and the 6 million, but you never hear about Mao and the 60 million that were killed. The 60 million Chinese that were starved to death, liquidated. 3 million that died in the Cultural Revolution, the 50+ million that died in the Great Leap Forward. You'll never hear about that. So the Asians, everything, they don't have any negative, what's the term, accusations levied against them. It's white men who are patriarchal, not Asians, which of course is not true. Okay, it's an Asian father's not going. Asian father, it's totally okay if he doesn't want his little precious dating outside her race. Because they have a culture to maintain. A white father not wanting his daughter to date out, well, he's just a bigot. Asian father, he's just trying to preserve his culture uh, against the onslaught against white imperialism, brah. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, the things the Japs did in World War II, fucking cutting off heads and kicking them around like a soccer ball, and the rape of Nanking, and everybody loves Japanese culture. It's like, what is the word for cute in Japanese? Kaiwei. Everybody's infatuated with Japanese pop culture and dressing up and anime and shit like that. Um, it's really weird. Uh, you know, it's just well, conveniently, the only people who are ever reminded of their history 70 years ago are the Germans. The Japanese, no, no, no. Everybody loves them. They're cute little fuzzy rabbits. They're all about the cute anime stuff. Nobody remembers them flying planes into aircraft carriers or doing bonsai charges. That's weird. Going through the chat here. I think that guy, Real Social Dynamics, Tyler. I think he is gay. I think that's the only. If those things aren't staged, like he doesn't hire actresses, which he probably does. Um, I think the only reason he gets away with being like very cocky and very insulting to the women is because they swear he's gay. He comes across the way he looks. I mean, he looks like the gay ginger from Modern Family. But just the way his mannerisms, the way he speaks, I think they let him get away with that because they assume he's gay. I mean, we've seen these like sketches where it was like Mad TV, and this is an old episode, and it was Will Sasso and Bobby Lee. They were pretending to be a gay couple so that they could score with women, and they invite these two girls over, and Will Sasso's like, "Oh, let me see that ass," and he's like grabbing the woman's ass, and she's okay with it because he's gay or claims to be. I think that's the only reason that guy gets away with the shit he does is because he comes across as gay. Steve Hoke, are you gonna go all George Sedini? Yeah, I think TFL does affect Jewish people. I don't think Jewish men are doing very well. I mean, they're doing well academically, financially. If half the white people in the Ivy League are Jewish, they're doing well in terms of networking and economically, financially. But when it comes to dating, I don't think so. I think, and people want to say like the Jews use feminism to subvert. I mean, aren't like the biggest Me Too accusers and all of these shrill feminists, aren't they Jewish? Like the worst offenders, like Sarah Silverman. and it's unfortunate. Like Sarah Silverman was quite pretty. I don't think she dates. I mean, right? She's just like a nasty, lewd, crude Jewish woman. Um, I think the Jewish women are very, and they're encouraged to be by, and we're not talking the Orthodox ones, the Hasidic ones. We're talking the normal, mainstream ones. They're encouraged by their parents to pursue an education, pursue a career. I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find like a mainstream Jewish woman who doesn't have at least a master's degree. You know, usually they'll have like an MBA or a JD or something. Um, so they're not really it'll be Jewish women in New York. They're going out to the brunch on Saturday morning with their girlfriends. Uh, they're not looking for a guy. I think they're probably the worst offenders amongst the white people. And just look at the type of women that these Jewish guys get. Um, Now, barring a few exceptions, like the head of the Treasury, Stephen Mnuchin. I mean, the guy's worth several $100 million. And yeah, he marries a much younger woman, but she was still something like, what's her name, Louise Linton, the actress. She was still like 35 and divorced when he married her. I mean, yeah, she's good looking for her age, but she's still like 35 and divorced. And Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan and on and on. All of these ultra rich Jewish men, they're not getting, even those guys are not getting the top tier women. They're getting like older divorced women. Let's see. That's about it. I think I'm just going to be going in circles, but I don't think it's just me. I mean, yeah. I mean, every time I have a dream, it's almost always it's set back in you know middle school or high school, because I don't really have much in the way of. I mean, the only relationships I had were as an adult, but they were. It was kind of spotty. It was not, how to put it. It was more the exception than the norm. Um, and it's always through something artificial, like just what, dating sites, dating apps, the cold approaches, speed dating, all of these forced things, instead of talking to somebody in your classroom that you see every day and getting to know them. It's normal. Instead, these pickup artists, it's like, unless they get to whip their dicks out inside of 10 minutes of meeting a woman, they don't want to do it. Oh, you want to you're going to be friend zone, bra. I would love to be friends with a woman. That's never happened, actually. Not since I was 10 years old. That would be amazing. Um but these pickup artists, they're like, if my dick isn't making an appearance, like a fucking Amos and Andy puppet show inside of 10 minutes, I'm out of here. Two dates, and if she doesn't put out, that's the end of her. Um, it's like a fucking sock puppet show. If your dick isn't out inside of 10 minutes, it's not worth the effort. But yeah, it definitely doesn't get better with age. It's weird to admit that you peaked in terms of your desirability when you were 13. And that's not an exaggeration. That's a fair assessment in terms of the frequency of women expressing interest, either overtly or subtly. Um, in me, I peaked at 13. At 13, and it's been downhill ever since. Um, okay, all those things like, you wish you had a car when you were 15. Yeah, you have those things. You have those things in spades. Disposable income, autonomy, independence, a car, whatever. Oh, you can buy. It's like, oh, you can buy alcohol instead of, how do sneaking it or stealing it or getting it from somebody. It's like that. What was that? That movie with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, 21 Jump Street, and they're throwing a party, and it's like two cops who are like 25 or 28 years old, and they're pretending that they're in high school to go undercover, and they're tasked with like throwing a party, and they're like, uh, but how are we going to get booze for the party? And then they look at each other and they high five each other because they're both 21, at least 21, so they just go to the store and buy it. Um, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you at all. Um, your Everything is diminished. Your choices are diminished. It's just, yeah, nowadays women are not interested. Um, and maybe that's across all the ages, but it's, probably worse for those over 18 and their 20s because, like I said, these women are all on hormonal contraception. They've been socially conditioned through the media for years and years. They're probably on libido killing antidepressants. Yeah, I mean, people would say, well, if you're 30 years old, you're not going to be able to get an 18-year-old girl. You probably still have better luck with them than with a woman your age, because, like I said, a woman your age, she's not desperate. She's just fucking bitter. She's fucking jaded. And she's probably happy with her cats. She's happy going out for, wine with the girls. And like I said, these are not little glasses of wine. I mean, these fucking women pour the whole bottle into these goblets. I mean, it's like the thing you take communion from, or the thing from the Last Supper. These things are fucking huge. Um, yeah, well, most incels should get a bop it because that's the only thing that's going to see any action. Nothing of theirs is going to be pulled or twisted aside from the bop it, right? Pull it, twist it, crank it, bop it. That's the only thing they're going to have that happening to is the bop it, not their dick. Uh, Yeah, it's a weird mindset. Smash it, crush it, pump it, destroy it, slay it. Yeah, that's how guys talk. I don't mean, do they not realize that's not a healthy way of talking. Uh, but it's just sort of been nonchalantly accepted. You know, it's just been acquired, that way of speaking. Um, it's just been adopted without so much as an afterthought. Just, yeah, that's the way we talk. I didn't talk like that even at 13. Nobody used such terms. Nope. And then you have like 20, like 18, 28, 38-year old men using these terms, like, and very weird ones too. Like, you're putting pussy on the pedestal, and who's that guy? He's irritating. I watch his channel. What is his name? His channel, LFA. I think it's LFA. It's like this. He has sort of like a southern twang to his voice, so I'm guessing he's a good old boy from Kentucky or something, or Missouri. And he like puts on this really alpha facade veneer about how much pussy he gets, and yeah, the way he speaks is so, yeah, like cringy. Like, you're put, and he's like, the last video he did it or something. He's talking about, you're just trying to get that warm, juicy slice of pie, and or you put the pussy on the pedestal. That's that's a weird way of speaking. That's the way Jeffrey Dahmer would speak about taking a body part. I'm just carving it. I'm just carving it out of you. Or like Jack the Ripper. That's what he did. He like sexually mutilated his victims. Like I'm just gonna carve this out of you. I'm gonna put it on the pedestal. Just your pussy, just your uterus. I'm just putting it on the pedestal right here. Just part of it. I'm doing a. It's like operation. I'm just taking part of you, putting it away for later. Oh, he's in Oklahoma. Yeah, I did not know that. But he's always drinking too, which is probably a giveaway for not having much life satisfaction. Uh, what was this video? Couple beers in. Yeah, it's because you're. I guarantee you, the. I mean, I did that video, that video game nerd, the transvestite who dresses up as a woman, who has a beautiful Asian girlfriend. And I checked back recently on his page, his Twitter page, and his girlfriend's page, and they're doing. I should do another video on this, an update, and they're doing cosplay together, and they're both dressed as women. So, I mean, you should let that sink into your mind, okay? That 5'2", uh, per you know, 5'2" transvestite has a better looking girl and has more sex more often than this tough guy, this tough guy, LFA, okay, or any of these tough guys, these alpha males. Okay, a short transvestite in 2018 is doing better with women than some macho cowboy. Yeah, Chads are the new incels. Yeah, with his fashy haircut, right? Mushroom haircut. That's I see a lot of Negroes with that type of haircut. The fade, what is it called? The fade on the sides, and then it looks like a mushroom. Yeah, like the 1989 rapper. Oh shit. It's yeah. These people, they can't just. How to put it? Masculinity is it's unwanted. I did that video there. Men are like VHS tapes, outmoded, unwanted. It's like a rusty old car. That's how these guys, yeah, myself included. But I'm at least aware of it. I'm cognizant of it. These guys who are whatever, they're tall, they're built, whatever. They're like some rusty old car, like some rusty old Studebaker that nobody fucking wants. Some old like you can if they're trying to say no, 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 it's a classic car, it's a classic car, brah, you wouldn't understand. No, it's a rust bucket, that nobody wants. You couldn't give the fucker away. You'd have to pay somebody to tow it. It's covered in weeds and vines and shit, and you've got to pay the junkyard to haul it away. No, people are not. Nobody wants a rusty old Studebaker, and nobody wants masculinity anymore. Uh, it's obsolete. That's the only way to put it. What's his supplement business? Is it pecker pills like Chris Cantu dick pumps? That way you can have a huge dick that sees no action. It's like a it's like a naval yard. You have a giant battleship and it never leaves port. It's marooned. It's run up on a sandbar. It never goes anywhere. Just a big old dick that sits there swinging. Never sees any action. That would be even sadder than having a little dick and being incel. You have a big, huge, supplement engorged member, and you're still incel. Your dick's so big, you get lightheaded, and you're still incel. That's even sadder. Shit. Uh, I don't think there's anything you can. I mean, best thing I could do, I would say, is be a minimalist in the sense that you would have excess time to just be out there anywhere. I mean, I'm not talking nightclubs. I'm just day game. Yeah, day game. I'm just like I said, school, high school, middle school, you had density. You had 2,000 kids under one roof, just packed in there. That certainly helped. I think that certainly helped was having a critical density. You had a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic. You're not going to do well if you have no time. Okay, you're not going to have energy. You're not going to have the time to go out trying to meet girls or do anything. So if you're these people who say stay busy with your job and make money, that's probably the worst thing you can do. Well, it's not a guarantee having time you're going to get anywhere, but having no time is a guarantee that you won't get anywhere. That is true. Um, I think it's just bad across the board objectively. Um, but it is a very sad realization when you look back and you're like, I had more females flirting with me, and like I said, I can dig up these yearbooks, and these girls were writing, "Have a great summer," and they'd put their phone number. Like, why would they put their phone number unless they wanted you to call? It's just too bad I didn't make use of it and I didn't act on it. That's the finally getting to the title of this video 2 hours later. Um, these girls showed interest in me, and for whatever reason, I was too young to appreciate it, or girls mature faster than guys, or whatever reason you want to come up with. I did not capitalize on it. I did not make the most of it. I could have had girlfriends, good looking ones, nice ones, pleasant ones, who actually wanted to date me and were eager to do so. And, they weren't doing it for what I could do for them or I had money. I didn't have a pot to piss in. Had obviously no car, and they wanted to date me. So I could have actually had some memories, forged some memories, and had some experiences instead of forsaking that. And now looking back wistfully, um, nostalgically and reminiscing. So I blew it. That is true. I did blow it. And now when I actually want to date, it's not really an option. It's not really happening. Um, and there's seemingly no way to make it happen. Um, no, no, it's like, well, you're going to be going to bars and nightclubs. Like that's not me. I was never that type of person as a teenager. I never became that type of person. I don't like the night. What is a fucking disco song? I like the nightlife. I love the boogie on the disco floor. No, no. Um, uh, let's see. No, it's just sad. I mean, I don't know how it is for women. I think for women, their options, again, they don't hit the wall. I mean, they have tons of options from day one. I think it's just a flat line. I don't think it never increases and never really diminishes. I think their prospects actually probably increase as they get older. Um, definitely after they leave middle school, after they leave high school, they go from a small pool to a larger pool, and I think their prospects increase. Uh, for me, at least, it's No, it's just more and more just diminishing prospects. Um, I mean, yeah, especially you see all of these stories every fucking day. Some new 20 something teachers caught fucking her 14-year-old male student. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many different ways, you try to repudiate and refute this claim that men are like wine, men age like wine. No, nobody wants old men. Nobody. I mean, you've got these very attractive 20 something teachers, and they're getting caught left and right fucking their and they're not even getting caught with 17 or 18-year-old students. That would still be wrong because it's their student. Um, Conflict of interest, right? It's unprofessional. You're talking fucking 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. Um, but it's a sad admission as a 30-year-old man that I was more desirable as a 13-year-old boy than I am today, or that I've been in probably at least the last decade. Oh, fuck. Anyway, that is a sorry admission, but it's true. I mean, you can try to, assuage your hurt ego and say, no, 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 I'm more desirable. No, no. I mean, objectively speaking, yes, I have this and that and these accomplishments, but they don't count for a hill of beans. They don't amount to anything. It hasn't resulted in commensurate increase in my desirability in the eyes of women, or my luck with women, or my interactions with women, or anything. I mean, it's just been downhill. So I think these other people, they're better at deceiving themselves, or coping, or lying to themselves. And no, I mean, I peaked in terms of desirability when I was 13 or 14. Those are the facts. Now we can quibble over what is the cause, but I think it's a host of reasons. Socially, um, the conditioning that goes on. The I think women get jaded and bitter through bad interactions, and all of the drugs, the cocktail of drugs they're on. Plus you're kind of carefree when you're younger, and then you're busy, and that's in quote marks because they elect to be. They elect to be busy with their career or jobs, or you'll be on a dating site and some youngish, younger, woman will be saying, "I work, three part-time jobs, or I work two jobs." Like, again, this is America. This was supposed to be sort of life on easy mode. Okay, that was like the joy of living in America. It was kind of like, you didn't have to be struggling to survive, and instead, 2018, it's the Hunger Games, and everybody's got to work three jobs. Like, that's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay, like back in even into the late 70s, you could work like part-time or full-time minimum wage job as like a store checkout person, a bagger, and you could afford a used car, your own apartment. You could go out. And now it's like you got 35-year-olds living, sharing an apartment together. It's a fucking joke. Everybody's it's graduated university, and they're 30 year olds living together. It's a fucking joke. Um, do you think I broke his brain? Is that why he hasn't done anything since that debate? Did I break his mind? Wasn't that from The Simpsons? Oh, cool! I broke his mind. Or like Skinner has a meltdown. And Bart, like, yeah, Bart triggers a PTSD Vietnam flashback. Uh, Only Americans are forced to compete against, well, Western. I don't know how it is in Europe. Um, Only Westerners are forced to compete against the whole fucking planet uh, for a job, for anything. You don't have people fighting for your job in Japan or China. You just have to compete against other people of that nation. Anyway, I've been going long enough. It's just unfortunate I never capitalized on, when I was 13 or 14, when girls actually wanted to date me, and instead I, was too weird or indifferent or immature or whatever to capitalize on it or uh, take them up on their offer. Now where are they? I mean, some of them do have kids. I don't think really they're. I think they're like single mothers or they're still single, or maybe they had one kid, but not really a big Walton's family. Um, anyway, just food for thought, and I'm out of here.